I form sentimental attachments to arbitrary things, Tyler. How do you feel about that?
I can relate to it, but you can go off the deep end sometimes.
What do you think that is? What do you think is the psychological component there where all of a sudden, I think people will probably see themselves most in this, and I'm totally guessing, in clothes, my lucky shirt, my lucky socks, where you form this emotional attachment to what amounts to some cotton.
Well, we were never taught how to love properly as kids, Ryan.
And I'll never learn.
So our emotions just were flown around all willy-nilly, and they were invested in other things that don't really matter.
They were invested in vests. Now, do you think it's unhealthy, or do you think that maybe that's a good thing?
I think anything could be unhealthy if you do it too much.
Okay, well, let me give you some examples. I've already said clothes. Let me give you some examples of things that I've formed weird attachments to. Water bottles. Tyler and I carry water bottles around in the heat of South Florida, and also just to show people from far away we're dickheads. We carry around water so we can be hydrated at all times.
Ryan only fills his yay hybe, so it looks like he's drinking all the time.
Damn, this guy is incredible. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, and that's his third one. So I lost one of those when we were in Portugal. Still dreaming about you, Yellow. Miss you, baby.
What's going on in your life?
Not a lot, Tyler.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Yeah, yellow's an ugly color.
Okay, backpack and my sleeping bag. When I was on tour with the band, I traveled around the world with them. I had maybe a mini session one day we'll do about this. An ex-girlfriend break into my car and take my backpack that I traveled the world with. Really did me some psychological damage.
Well, you don't keep personal effects in your car when you have a crazy ex out on the loose, Ryan.
Oh, so then I'm not allowed to have anything, Tyler? It's just me traveling around with a bindle like a hobo. I can't live like that.
Even that's not safe.
I'm scared of the girlfriend I got right now.
You should be.
I told you this. I have felt sad. This one is kind of embarrassing. I've felt sad pulling my stuff out of a storage space where I'm just looking around this place that I've been maybe, an hour of total time and being like, man, had some really good times here.
You're a crazy person.
Is that weird?
Yes.
It's just
that specifically is weird.
I really do feel like an overwhelming love for certain things that I become accustomed to.
Mm-hmm.
I've even told you, as my last one, because I think it's probably the craziest one, I never liked adding or taking away keys from my key ring because I had fallen in love with the sound of my jingle and my jangle. What's your take on that, Tyler?
Certain tone you got to hit, Ryan.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're a crazy person.
It was a C concert flat, which I think those are musical terms, Tyler.
Crazy person.
Whether you're talking about key rings or G strings, my name is Ryan.
And my name is Tyler.
And we are those guys you hate. Salutations, my Haitians, and welcome to the microfiche of podcasting. To my left, the man, the myth, the monster, Mr. Tyler Menendez. Tyler, how you been being?
Have you used that one before? Because that might be one of my favorites.
I can't believe that you remember that.
Yeah.
I think I used it on like session 2 or something.
Yeah,
and I always go, wow, I'm impressed by you.
I like that one.
Now, normally, we would do on today's show right here for all you longtime Haitian Army members. We've decided to pull that out because we started doing the intro at the beginning. Do you agree with this decision, Tyler?
Yeah, I think it works perfectly. As I said to you when you brought it up, it was one of those things that I hadn't even considered, really, but it makes total sense.
Well, and the way that things evolve, some things leave and some things show up. And I have something that I hope is going to be a mainstay on this show. But before we get into that,
your wiener.
We touched on this a little bit, my wiener, on the mini sesh. And we talked about how last week we recorded a whole episode. We were very happy with it. We thought we lost it. We had to record it again the next day. And you showed up hammered on mimosas, Tyler.
I did.
Do you recall that?
I recall talking about it.
I don't recall recording it.
Yes, I absolutely remember it.
Now,
yes.
I do believe that there is some very funny sound from what is now the lost Tyler Drunken episode.
Yeah.
Because we ended up editing and putting up the original one, which I think for the audience was a good thing to do because it's better.
Sure. Yeah.
In the second one, I was very angry. You were very drunk.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any learning moments? And I'm not saying like, oh, Ryan, I'm so sorry. I mean, is there anything that stands out from last week's drunken episode?
Don't get shit-faced before an episode.
Okay, well, I would agree with that. I just thought the whole situation was funny. You were slurring. I was angry, so I kept mentioning it, which was making you a little angry.
Yes.
It was a real nice. I just enjoyed the whole thing.
Did you?
I wish
because the way you're phrasing it now makes it seem like, yeah, you didn't enjoy it all that much.
No. Now that's all fixed, I am. Now, the thing is, I wish that we could take some of that audio. I don't have access to it. I would love to cut it up so you could hear back on some of those things.
I'm so glad that we found the other episode because I went to edit the old episode, and as I'm listening to it, I'm like,
yeah, Tyler was slurring. And the thing that really upset me about it was
first sip of mimosa, baby. It got me.
Have specifically warned of the dangers of mimosas on this show. You and I drink probably more than we should. Mimosas specifically are evil. Their requirement of daylight.
Yeah.
The slippery slope that is the champagne.
And they're delicious.
Oh my goodness.
They're delicious.
It's like candy for your nose.
They
Tyler.
have no, that's something else. They have no right to be that good.
And that's the thing. I mean, it's just a little bit of juice, a little bit of.
Like the juice.
Hey, you like it, a juice, huh? All right, Tyler. So what I was referring to earlier was I recently had been reading an article about something kind of inane, okay? I read that J-Lo, at a point in her career, you familiar with J-Lo?
I am familiar with her, yes.
Tell the audience, because I'm using a nickname.
Hispanic singer. And come on, man, you've heard of Jennifer Lopez.
I didn't even say her name.
Who hasn't heard of J-Lo?
Was she the original Hispanic booty? Was that even before Kim Kardashian?
Oh, definitely before Kim Kardashian.
When I was growing up, cleavage, boobage was what it was all about. You never heard anybody talking about large posteriors.
Yeah.
And but their bottom, Tyler.
You sound like somebody that at the time would not talk about large butts, saying posterior.
Posteriors. And at some point,
got a big old rump.
In our childhood, heinies became the thing, Tyler.
Yeah.
And
do you think Miami made that big? I mean, it's huge down here, figuratively and literally.
I do believe that the Latin culture had something to do with it. I am reticent to just put it all on Miami, but I do believe it was part of it.
Sure. You want to put it all on J-Lo?
I read somewhere that at some point in her life, J-Lo has employed a professional nipple tweaker, Tyler. A professional nipple tweaker. Now, when I say that to you, what's your automatic idea of what a professional nipple tweaker is, Tyler?
Well, my assumption is, my brain immediately wants to go dirty, but it's not, because J-Lo's a professional and she don't work like that. So she is
Jenny from the block.
She has hired a professional nipple tweaker. Keyword there, professional.
Yes.
So what is obviously happening is to make sure that those nips are on point. She has somebody come in and just pinch them a little bit. Just pinch them just the right amount so they pop out of her shirt.
Now, I think that that's great because you nailed it. Okay.
Is that right? Did I get it right?
It's exactly right. It's exactly right. And you assume this guy is a professional.
It's a guy?
I'm sure that they would charge him $50 an erection or whatever.
How much money do I have to give you to do this?
Now, here's the thing, okay?
I would do it too hard.
I was wondering, am I being tricked by the internet? Is this just one of those pictures that you're catching it from the wrong angle? Is this even real? So I wanted to show it to you.
Oh, they have a picture of somebody doing it to her.
That's exactly right.
Oh, fantastic.
And I thought moving forward, what could be great for this show, have you ever seen those things where it's like, this is the way that the media portrays this picture, but then you get the picture from another angle and it's something entirely different?
Absolutely, which happens all the time.
I honestly would love if we could find that kind of information on the internet. I think that could be great for the show.
For sure.
So I want to send you this picture and I want you to look at it and tell me if I've been tricked by the internet. But even more than that, what I want to introduce is a sounder. What's great about this show as we're getting better and better is that we're developing our own unspoken language here behind the cameras. You know what I'm talking about?
Our hieroglyphics.
Our hieroglyphics, our Rosetta Stone. So now if we hold up a pen or a finger, that means we're ready to go. So we're slowly building up rapport and working better and better silently. So I thought when I have a picture for you, something that I've sent to your computer just to let you know, maybe I can make a little sounder for you.
Oh, here it comes.
No, I'm being dead serious.
No, I know, but is this not the Pavlovian sound that you want to set up so where every time I hear it, my brain melts a little bit more?
I don't know what you're talking about. Tyler, get out of my head. Now, when you hear this, that means that you have mail waiting for you. And I made it a little bit longer so it could kind of help us transition. Let's hear it by itself first.
Very excited.
And then from now on, we'll just kind of roll right through it.
That's
okay?
Wonderful. Yeah.
You've got mail. You've got mail. You've got mail. You've got mail.
This is the short version.
Well, this is going to be underneath us.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Got you. It's not haunting whatsoever.
What are you talking about? Now check out the... Tyler, check out the...
What the hell was that?
I didn't hear anything. So from now on...
Is it an email? Is that what it is?
It's an email, sure. I don't want... We're gonna actually cut this because I don't want the audience to know how low tech we are.
I was gonna say we need to upgrade this.
The problem is, and we really will cut all this, the airdrop just doesn't work at all times. So this is like our best way of doing it.
Damn you, Trabajo.
All right, so check out this picture.
All right, here we go. So I'm the picture's loading right now. I mean, the thing is I could see how people could say, hey, this is you getting tricked by the internet. Because it's an arm coming off from the side of the camera from out of frame, and it's hovering over her boob, but you can't actually see the nipple.
And that's the deal. I don't even know if this is it. Man, she looks great there.
She does.
I don't know if this is even real because, and here's why, I don't mean to break this down too much, but her shirt doesn't seem to be displaced in a tweakage pattern.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well,
like a bowling ball in the middle of a trampoline, you're not seeing everything shoot to one side. You know what I mean? We've got a new addition to the show. We've got a lot going on. So we've got a new addition to the show. And I like that we're consistently growing and becoming more professional. But let's go back to something we've done a million times. Let's do the depression index.
No one cares, you don't know
what
to
the
do.
Depression
The world
Index
has
is a machine that I built with J-Lo's nipples, and we crank it up to let you know how down we are. Tyler, how are you feeling this week, brother? And you know what I'm going to ask you? How many days this week did you take your... How many days this week did you take your antidepressants?
Another 7 days.
You're lying. Is that true?
I've been on a roll, baby.
Okay, now listen. I am going to give you the utmost audio honor here, but I'm genuinely proud of you.
Thank you.
Why are you seeing such a nice streak? What is going on right now,
It's
Tyler?
just the benefits
Your kill count is through the roof.
Are accumulating right now. And as I say all the time, it will get better. This is it getting better. It has to happen eventually if you're putting the work in.
And the universe is that of balance, which means it will also get worse. But before we delve into that, other way, Tyler. Before we delve into that, let me give you the ultimate audio honor. And 3 times. I'm genuinely proud of you,
Thank
Tyler.
you.
You have been on the up and up.
I have.
I'm proud of you.
Thank
You're
you.
doing great.
Thank you.
All right, so what do you got this week, brother?
Ryan, I am going to, for the first time, reuse a theme. At least I think it's the first time I'm doing this. My memory is shite.
You're the man, the myth, the monster, Tyler. You can do whatever you want.
Thank you. Session 97, the theme is, which I'm going to reuse from session 75. Ryan, follow the fear. This is something that I heard from Ben Kissel over at Last Podcast on the Left, which his improv teacher told him, you got to follow the fear. You got to do the things that make you scared.
And now why would somebody want to do that?
To get out of the rut, Ryan. The thing that we are avoiding when I isolate myself in my room, or when you do drugs or any coping mechanism you use, it's to get away from these uncomfortable feelings. But the only way out is through those uncomfortable feelings. And that's the fear. That's what the fear is. The fear keeps you from doing things.
It's recognizing that those uncomfortable feelings, not only are they not going to kill you, they are stopping you from living.
Correct.
In a lot of ways. And I'm glad that you said this because I've had this on my notes for a little while. I wanted to do a Tyler Menendez observations, but I didn't want to blindside you. I wanted to ask you about it before, but I always have so much to put on the show. I just haven't gotten around to it. I would love on one episode to really talk about the way that you isolate. I think that people would be interested in it because maybe some people would see some understanding in it, and some people would not see some understanding in it, which would also be interesting.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
But forgive me, but when you said that, it made me think of it. But please continue.
No, that's okay. And I was just going to say that the fear keeps you from living it, or as you said, the fear keeps you from living. But it's not just in improv. It's not just with art or with what we're doing here. It's literally everything in your life. We talk about it all the time. My anxiety got so bad, going to Publix was an anxiety-ridden experience, and I was keeping myself from living in the most basic of ways and simply following the fear, meaning I'm getting out of bed and I'm just going and living my life in the most, again, basic form possible.
I've seen it.
That is fear-inducing for me, and by me following it, I am slowly climbing my way out of depression little by little.
I like digging your way out. Is that a possibility?
No, because I'm going up. Right now I'm in the pit and I'm going up.
Maybe you'll come out in Australia, Tyler.
Can't dig up right.
You don't know. But what I will tell you is I've experienced some of that before, and I've been in Publix and just decided to get rid of items on my list because I don't want to go to that aisle, or you know what? I don't even need it. Milk, overrated. We're probably supposed to be lactose intolerant anyway. I don't need that shit.
This is a mutation. I don't need this shit.
So, and I think everybody has experienced what you're describing in some form or fashion. Even the drinking. It is, hey, I'm uncomfortable right now. I could drink that little magic potion and bang, all of it will be gone. Of course, I'll wake up in the parking lot of Walmart like I always do.
That's why it's a magic potion,
I love it.
Ryan.
And my butt always hurts. What's up with that?
You're doing it right.
Wow. I've never got a right at the end of that.
Ryan, this week I am at a 4. 1, 2, 3.
Well, that's all you got left.
Squirt.
Yes. 4 is a great for you, and I'm happy that you're doing so well. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Get it up!
Although if I don't make it to a 10, we can't have our depression party.
We'll get there. Don't you worry about that. This week, I have one sentence written down. I don't know if it's a quote or it's not a quote or whatever.
It will be when you say it.
It is now. I'm not afraid of being afraid. I have covered this. It's very much like what you said. I have covered this so much, and I'm going to take it from the maximum where you're talking about getting out of your room and just living life, and I'm going to put it down to the minimum, which is just these little brushes of anxiety in my stomach during the day. Just these habits of how I think, where all of a sudden I'm having a great day and something, the most minuscule of things happen. And all of a sudden now I'm in this negative spiral. And what's stopping me from getting from where I am to where I want to be is my fear of those feelings. Much like you said, if you can just say, hey, this is just anxiety right now, and I'm not afraid of you. I'm going to keep on living my life. I don't believe in you. You know, much like COVID, I think that is how we make it to where we want to go, Tyler. And you and I are on the same page this week. I am going to spin the wheel before I do good quotes by bad people.
Thank God.
Because I'm a cheater, brother.
He gets away with not spinning the damn wheel, man.
I will tell you, Tyler, for the first time in my life, I am in a place where I feel like I can genuinely quantify the progress that I'm making. Not because it's the first time I made progress, but I'm finally learning how to do so and being proud of myself. And really, for the first time in my life, and maybe this is heartbreaking to hear, and maybe it's heartbreaking to say, but it is true. For the first time in my life, I'm not dealing with myself in a mean way. I'm not dealing with myself with some mild to extreme form of hatred. And for that, I'm very proud and thankful.
That is, I mean, when I hear that, that is certainly not a bad thing to hear or sad or whatever the adjective is you used. I think of that as a beautiful thing.
No, and I do appreciate that, but I think a lot of people, maybe not the people who listen to this show, maybe the constituency for this show, the reason they're interested is because they're so introspective. But I think a lot of people hear that and they're like, hatred for yourself? How could you hate yourself? What the F are you talking about?
It's really easy to do, trust me.
The thing is, I'm glad you said that. I think there are a lot of people out there who are dealing and living on a daily basis with self-hatred that have no clue. They are blind to it.
Absolutely.
Much like the smell of my ass, it's around me so much, I don't even smell it anymore. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean.
Come here. Come here.
Any way I can get out of this
You
joke.
have no commitment to the show, Tyler.
You're absolutely right in that regard. And sniffing your ass for the show, no thank you.
Okay. Dogs do it.
So get one of them to co-host, Ryan.
That
would be rough.
Would be rough. Thank you. So
Beat him to it.
this week, I am challenging everybody to look inside and see if the way that they feel is truly the way that they feel. I've had a great week because not that everything has been easy, but I love my way of dealing with it. And this week, I am at a 3. 1, 2, 3. And before I get into my good quotes by bad people,
You always have to outdo me.
yeah, well, it's on accident, I'm sure. I'm seeing it a lot in my relationships, the way that I am being able to, not just with my girlfriend, not just with you, not just with people in my life, I'm more willing to be vulnerable and put out how I actually feel instead of always worrying about how is this person going to take this and how do I tailor it to them taking it the way I want it.
So they don't react away.
F that.
So that they react in a way that I am already picturing them reacting.
Absolutely.
Like I have to say the thing, so you react the way that I'm expecting you to.
I'm going to put the puzzle pieces together to get the picture that I'm expecting. And that is no way to live a life. Anyway, I'm sorry, Hannibal Lecture is in the building. All right, Tyler, good quotes by bad people. What?
No, go ahead, please.
Okay, you scared me. Good quotes by bad people, Tyler. Who said this gem? The past is a ghost. The future a dream. All we ever have is now.
Was that Mother Teresa, that bitch?
No, I would never let her words exit my mouth, Tyler. That was that one fun-loving, Jello-eating Bill Cosby time.
Oh, Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby. You know,
bad people, what did he do?
Well, he put a thingy in the whoop wop while they were doing the snooze snazzle. He's a rapist, Tyler.
That was really good.
Always room for Cosby while you're sleeping in your penis.
Always room for another Bill.
You gotta really suck it if you want to feel the Spanish fly. So, Tyler, I'm proud of my Bill Cosby.
I'm proud of it too,
That
except
was-
maybe you shouldn't have delivered the news of rape in
Well,
a Bill Cosby.
I promise that I'll be doing an apology tour with the hip hop and the whoopity wobble. But before we do that, Tyler,
Where'd I leave my push pop?
I need for you to get into this Star Trek transporter.
Yay!
Because we are going to Chicago and wait, my ass is on backwards, Tyler. Wait a minute. What happened? Damn, this thing is nice.
How come nobody told me it was so big?
We just made that up. That's us. Now, Tyler,
Mel Brooks who?
we are going to the Jussie Smollett trial. Now, the way that Get In works is you and I don't ever talk about what's coming. It's just me knowing. What do you know about Jussie, which isn't a real name, Smollett, Tyler?
Well, I just love that out of all the destinations we've been to, you decided to use the one that teleports us instantaneously to somewhere that's 3 hours away by flight?
Traffic is terrible in Chicago. And violence, Tyler. And I'm just scared. We're in and out. I don't care if my ass is on backwards. Let's do this thing.
I was actually shocked to learn that it was still on. Like, I thought it had been taken care of already.
COVID, man. COVID.
Oh, yeah.
It preceded COVID. And I wonder if that had something to do with the infamy in which it rose to, because keep in mind the times. Well, we're talking about it without explaining what happened. So please explain to the audience what you know about Jussie Smollett, and I will follow up with what I know.
Well, I will admit my ignorance in that I had no idea who this guy was prior to this incident.
I still don't. I know the show that he was on, but I've never seen it.
Yeah,
so.
agreed. What was it, Empire?
Correct.
Yeah, he was an actor, and from what I understand, he was an up-and-comer. He was getting popular, he was getting roles, and then he apparently facilitated—
Allegedly
facilitated this fake racist attack where he said a group of MAGA people came up on him while he was walking down the road and beat him up, and I think put a noose around his neck.
Okay, so here's what happened. He reported a crime. He is both black and gay.
Oh, black I can tolerate. Gay?
It's 2 strikes against you, Jussie.
Whoa, 2?
Just kidding.
Because he's male?
Just a little joke. Yes. So, just those 2, male and gay. That's it. I can see 2 women kissing, but just joking. I need to get out of this.
Please, you're making it so much worse.
That's kind of gay.
Now, the thing is that he reported an attack on his person where he was beat up. He was beat up. Someone poured bleach on him.
Oh, wow.
They used homosexual epithets.
That I
They
could see.
put a noose around his neck.
Yeah, out of everything there.
And then let him walk. I don't know.
Out of everything there, the one thing that really doesn't faze me is the use of the gay slurs. Like, oh, you got bleach dumped on your head, you got a noose around your neck, and they may have called him a fag in the process. Like,
Wait a
of
minute.
course they did.
I don't think you can say that. Well, I guess you can say it.
I
huh?
can say that.
Oh, is it still a hateful term? Or?
I'm a fag.
Okay, Tyler. So
Hey.
I'm very uncomfortable. So to make a long story, not as long, this guy, apparently, it seems as though he put this whole thing together by himself. And you got to keep in time, and you got to keep in mind the time in which this happened, which was such a peak level of racial uncertainty and tension in this country. This was at peak Donald Trump time, was it not?
Yeah. It seemed like he was trying to use the mood within the country to boost his own fame.
To capitalize his own Q rating.
And it never works, guys.
I think the Q stands for queer.
You can't say that, Ryan.
What? Don't they give you a queer rating on back pages? This guy's 9.5.
It never works. Guys, you're going to get found out. That person that you're working with, that part-time actor who's looking for his big break, he's going to turn on you.
Yeah, he's a DJ and a dentist and a professional bodybuilder. He is, and it seems to me like it was put together in seemingly a poor fashion. I mean, it seems almost cartoonish.
Yes.
In the noose. I don't know. So anyway, I don't want to judge this guy too hard because he's already paying the price of everybody just pointing and laughing and treating him like poop-a-la-la-la.
Well, not just that. Very much like Henry Ruggs III, the Las Vegas Raiders football team. He was driving 156 miles per hour. He does this really stupid act. The acts aren't the same, obviously, but he does this stupid act. Dude, you're on top of the world, man. You're making money. You're in Hollywood. You're acting. You're doing all these things. You're going to pull this shit. You're going to make this decision and ruin it?
Well, and you know what? I was getting ready to move on past this, but I'm glad you brought this up. I believe that this shows, and I think we've talked about it on this show many times about CEOs and all that stuff. This shows some behavior of somebody whose psychological health does not seem to be, we were just talking about it. Can't you see somebody who's achieved everything that they've ever wanted and found it empty? Them turning to drinking like Henry Ruggs, or them looking for more like Jussie Smollett, not a real name. Don't you think that this just shows you that sometimes people get to the precipice of where they've been reaching for their whole lives and it's still empty and they're still hollow individuals? Again, I know I'm judging this guy, but these are the actions of somebody who's not a good dude. I feel bad saying that, but I also believe it.
Sure. Well, in the case of Henry Ruggs III, I will say that I believe with him, it wasn't that, and I don't know him, I don't think it was that.
And forgive me,
that's okay.
Henry Ruggs III, football player, got into a car accident 150 miles an hour in a Lamborghini, and he was hammered. He was very, very drunk, killed a lady and her dog.
Killed a lady and her dog.
Like, that's how John Wick got started,
Yeah,
Tyler.
yeah. But if John Wick was the woman, she's not coming back for anyone. It was a decision, but with him, I think it was a feeling of feeling totally invulnerable to everything. I think that he, as an athlete, was on top of the world, and you're thinking, dude, nothing can touch me.
And you're hammered.
And you're hammered. With Jussie Smollett, fake name.
Jussie.
No, I'm not calling him that fake name.
Fair enough.
No, with Jussie Smollett, I think he saw it.
You're making him French.
I don't know, man.
Okay, well, I know who you're talking about. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I won't obstruct you.
Thank you. I think with him is he saw it as an opportunity to capitalize. Or Henry Ruggs wasn't capitalizing on anything. He was just being an idiot.
Yeah, well, the idea is, I think it's that same thing. Hey, I'm going to pull this off. I'm famous. I'm an up-and-comer. I can have somebody pour bleach on me, call me the F word, and scream MAGA, and nobody will ever look into it.
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And I also, again, totally different crimes, but in my mind, kind of parallel, the Harvey Weinstein thing. I could do whatever I want. I'm in Hollywood.
Yeah.
I am a god.
Yeah.
Hold this plant.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It's just something that I think is interesting. And that is get in. Now let's try this out. Let's see if this works
Got mail.
just as well this time, Tyler. Now, please.
Mail.
And I think that this is going to push this conversation even further. Please tell the listener what you're looking at.
All right, picture number 2, Ryan.
Yeah, what do you got? What do you got?
It's what the fuck? it's Patrick Star from SpongeBob SquarePants, but somebody has photoshopped big googly eyes on him, some very full red lips, and a vagina. Like a legitimate vagina.
One human vagina.
Vagina.
Yeah, that's it, man. And now I think that this show
This is going to stay with me.
Yeah, well, because you're really like pushing your face up against the monitor, Tyler. Now, the thing is that I think this is going to be more interactive, not just with the audience.
Oh, great. Interactive. Wonderful.
But between us.
Yay.
Between us,
Great.
which I'm really excited about.
Super excited.
So, Tyler, do you have an international hello for me?
I do.
Let's hear what you got.
In case you're new to the show, first of all, welcome. And those here for your reverse hand jobs promised to you by Ryan, the line starts over there.
They're not reverse if I look right at it.
The international hello is our way of welcoming a new country into the Menendez family. This is obviously how we want to do it.
This microphone looks like a robot dick on
Ryan
the
is
computer.
deep-throating his microphone.
Huh?
Ryan,
Yo,
the Philippines. Heard of it?
I have.
Good.
They are an archipelago.
Archipelago.
Archipelago, Tyler.
Correct.
You taught me that word like 2 weeks ago.
Correct. First of all, it's the second largest inhabited archipelago in the world.
And the first is, wow, I would have guessed that is the number one. The first is Hawaii.
Right next door, it's the Malay Islands, which is Indonesia and all of
Because
that.
those are very heavily populated, am I
very
correct?
heavily populated. Yes, but
Philippines as well.
all of it, that entire area. Now there are places like the archipelago in northern Canada, which is deemed 30,000 island archipelago, but it's uninhabited.
It's unlivable
because it's like negative 1,000 degrees.
Nobody wants to live that life.
Celsius. Yeah, this archipelago has over 7,500 islands, but only 2,000 of them are inhabited. Spot for our future cult, ladies and gentlemen?
Or sort of like an evil layer. I mean,
one in the same, Ryan.
A regular layer. A regular layer.
A happy layer.
Of death.
We should also say thank you to them. The Philippines is the top supplier of nurses in the world. Roughly 25% of overseas nurses come from there.
Why do you think that is?
I have no idea.
Huh. That's very, very interesting. Okay.
Ryan, what are the two biggest sports in the Philippines?
Cricket. Okay. Soccer. Soccer's always a good.
Did you not read the packet I gave you before the show?
No, I was being a Filipinus.
You've already used that joke multiple times over the last 4 episodes.
That's unfortunate. So not soccer? Soccer's always a good guess.
Basketball is the second most popular sport. It is beloved, but even more so, boxing.
Oh, because of Manny Pacquiao?
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Correct. As a matter of fact, boxing is so popular there specifically because of Manny Pacquiao, who is Filipino.
And not that great at boxing over the last decade.
Well, I mean, he was great when he was in his prime.
Also, like the prime minister, he was like 10 different things.
Yep. But when he fought Floyd Mayweather Jr., also one of the most famous boxers in the world, back in 2015, the Metro Manila, which comprises 16 cities in an area, including their The Metro Manila, which comprises 16 cities, including their capital, more than 13.5 million residents. During the fight, there were 0 crimes.
Wow, that's pretty good.
16 cities, 13.5 million people, no crime.
Out of respect to you, Manny Pacquiao.
Well, no, everybody was watching the fight. It wasn't respect.
No,
it was just everybody was busy. Our third fact, Ryan, they have one of the single most interesting geological formations in the world. Now,
which is?
Follow me here. The largest island of the Philippines is the island of Luzon. On that island is a massive lake named Lake Taal. In that lake is another island called Volcano Island. And on Volcano Island, you'll find Main Crater Lake, and inside Main Crater Lake is Vulcan Point Island.
Okay.
It is a lake on an island, which has another island, which has a lake, which has another island.
How big is that island? I feel like I'm standing on a postage stamp at that point.
Oh, the smallest island is tiny, and it all comprises the smallest active volcano in the world.
I'm thinking of the water like boiling around me. Do I have that correct in my mind's eye?
No. I mean, I guess when magma's shooting out of the top, sure. But no,
that scene in Shrek where it's being guarded by the dragon. Is that real?
And then you got to get a donkey to hit on the dragon for some reason.
And then you watch the donkey and the dragon fuck, bro.
But then he gets lost up in there because the dragon's 50 times the size of the donkey.
That's why God invented tentacles, Tyler. What's the deal with tentacle porn? Should we get Dr. Drew on tentacle porn?
We have to. That's actually an excellent point. I'm gonna,
because we talk about tentacle porn all the time. I don't know anything about it other than that I love it and watch it all the time.
Well, and it got started in Asia.
All right.
Japan specifically, I believe.
Dr. Drew, literally get on it.
Yes. Now, did that all sound amazing, Ryan?
The tentacle porn?
No,
Yes,
Philippines stuff.
Philippines.
It all sounds amazing. And in terms of does the water boil at the lake? No, it's a very popular tourist destination. And finally, Ryan, all that being said, with one of the single most archaic and draconian policies on drug reform since taking office, outgoing President Rodrigo Duterte has overseen the murder/execution of between 12,000 and 20,000 Filipino residents. In the first year of his reign, 54 children were murdered.
Wow. Under his
reign by the police force. And of course, the population hit hardest by this is the poor.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way that it goes.
Philippines, welcome to the Menendez family.
Except for that guy.
No, he's not welcome.
Yeah, you get out. You scat.
He's not welcome.
I say you scat.
Yeah, not poop, leave.
Well, let's not be too specific. I love it, and we are welcoming the Philippines into the Menendez family. We love when a new country starts listening, and we appreciate everybody who can hear our voices right now.
When is the last time you've heard the term death squads?
Honestly, it's been too long, Tyler.
Because he employed death squads and sent them out and said, if you suspect anyone of dealing in drugs, you kill them on the spot.
Wow. I got to tell you, death squad's probably a bad thing. Badass name.
It's a great name.
Badass name.
It's a great name, but they are, I know good people in history have ever employed death squads. It's usually relegated just to the bad ones.
And we are going to change that rule. We'll be right back.
Those guys.
Okay, I think that somebody is breaking into my house and putting pubic hair into my bar of soap. True crime? Is that true crime?
Why would anyone do that?
I don't get it.
You hate.
I'm looking at these hairs and I'm like, I don't know these hairs. True crime. That's definitely true crime.
That is not true crime.
Whatever, you don't know what true crime is.
Those guys.
I've got an interesting story that I can tell very quickly that is strange. It's a weird story, Tyler.
You've already got me. Tell the story.
And I would like to, do we have a clue on what story we're going to be telling for the mini sesh this week? I've done a couple of mine in a row.
That's okay, though. That doesn't matter.
Okay, because I've got something happened to me last night that reminded me of a very funny story that I could tell on a different mini sesh. But I'm at work, and there's a kid who comes in with his family. This kid has got to be 9 years old, 10 years old. I guess I won't say his name.
I love you, mommy.
Thank God it's not that kid.
Oh, yeah.
I saw him recently, by the way.
How's he doing? Murdered a bunch of people
We'll
yet?
probably have to cut this out because there's no backstory on this whole thing. But, you know, same as always.
Traumatized?
Deeply.
Yeah.
Deeply.
Is she still in there kissing dudes?
She hasn't gotten wrecked like that since, but she has slowly started coming back in more and more. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Here it comes.
I'm at work last night, and there's a kid who comes in there all the time, as a matter of fact, and I obviously won't say his name, but he is super buddy. Like, he's friends with everybody. He knows me by name. Hey, Ryan, blah, blah, blah. So that's the whole deal. He in the middle of my crazy night and I'm running around. I am around on the other side of the bar. I'm out by him and he's there with his aunt. And he's like, hey, that's a cool belt buckle. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. He's like, can I touch it? It's a raised belt buckle. It has a bull's head on it. What do you do in that circumstance, Tyler?
Politely decline.
So you'd say no.
Yeah, especially if you said you're in the middle of all your shit at that moment, right?
I mean, I'd stop to talk to him. It wasn't insane, but I mean, yeah, he
I mean, I guess all you can, if you still want that tip, I guess all you can do is just thrust your pelvis out and let him graze it.
I'm worried that he still wants that tip.
What happened?
I grabbed my belt. I mean, super uncomfortable. And the human brain is the fastest working computer on the planet.
In the universe.
It's made out of meat.
Yeah.
You don't know that.
That we know of.
Okay. And it immediately was like, if you decline his offer, you're going to look like a weirdo.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was got us a hotel room. No, what I did was grab my belt buckle and pulled it as far from my body as I possibly could.
I might have taken it off completely.
Okay,
Here
now
you go, buddy.
now we're entering a new problem.
Oh, no, I just would have given it to him. Here, here's your new belt.
Keep it, you dickhead. So
I like that belt.
anyway, I had mentioned to you.
And he touched it.
He did. And we moved on. His aunt was within 2 feet. It was a terrible procedure. AJ, fuck you.
Was it romantic?
It was nice.
Did he gently caress?
Yeah, I'm going to be seeing him later.
Good.
We're cutting all that.
Good.
All right. So, Tyler, earlier in the week, I had told you, I don't think we've ever done this segment this way, but I told you I had a hear ye. I wanted to see if you wanted to get in on the game. Did you come up with one?
No.
Okay. Well, you're a piece of shit, Tyler.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, so this segment is where Tyler and I make a new rule for society that will henceforth be adhered to. This is a segment called Hear Ye. Now, Tyler, this would work a lot better because it's very short if you had done one, because there would be a nice balance, but you didn't, so I hate you. Now, let me ask you this question. What is the worst part of travel? Okay, everybody knows the best part of travel. You get to rub it in everybody else's face back home through Instagram.
Of course, that's
and TikTok,
obviously.
and you let them know those peasants don't know shit, and you are the man.
That's obviously it.
So that's obviously the best part. What is the worst part of travel, Tyler?
Traveling.
Okay, traveling.
Actually going to the airport, or do people still do Greyhounds these days? Whatever the deal is, actual being in the air on the vehicle sucks balls.
Okay, and that is very true. But if we could whittle it down just a little bit more, what's even worse than the travel there? It's the travel home. Because even with the travel there, there's that excitement. There's this building anticipation. The travel home is soul-sucking and just get me to my lavatory.
Yeah.
I've got serious Montezuma's revenge, and I'm filling up my pants like waiters, Tyler. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Unfortunately, yes.
But I digress.
Please digress.
The travel home is the worst. So, as king of this domain, I am decreeing I'm going to make the world a better place. From now on, no more travel home. From now on, we're not doing that shit. Nobody likes it, so that's it. We're out of here, buddy. No more of that.
So you just want the entire world's population to be gypsies. You want them to be transient.
We can't use that word, Tyler.
Yes, we can.
We're going to bleep that.
Yeah, no, we're not.
Oh, yes, we are. That could offend some people.
Who would it offend other than gypsies?
Gypsies, Tyler. Now I'm doing it. Yes. Listen.
You want us to be, so wherever we travel to, that's where we live.
Listen to me. Listen to me, okay?
That's ridiculous.
The king is not in charge of logistics, Tyler. The king comes up with an idea, and then lackeys make it happen.
And the thing is hear ye, we're supposed to be the heralds of these new laws.
No more travel home, Tyler.
You're not doing it right.
Now, speaking of seeing our faults and pointing them out, let's do Week in Review. Now, Tyler, last week, I asked if micropenis was a real thing. Is it?
It is.
Hell yeah, I suck toes.
Oh.
Hell yeah, it is a real thing. And Did you look this up?
A little bit. I didn't find it really all that interesting.
When you say a little bit, like, is that a joke?
They say that the average for and below of micro penis is, I think, 3 1/4 inches or under is
I got
considered.
3 2/3 inches.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Or less is a micro penis. It's almost like your height defines whether or not you're a midget, or excuse me.
Whoa!
We'll believe that too. Wow, man, we are a hateful bunch.
Don't include me in your. Never mind. Go ahead.
I'm sitting here with one of the Gypsy Kings, and now he's looking down at me because I said midget. No pun intended.
Did it again.
0.6% of men have a micro penis, and it just got me thinking that maybe you and I could share a little bit.
You're just gonna abuse me with this,
Tyler. If you could please check your inbox for small cocks. I would like for you to tell me what you got, Tyler.
All right, it's loading, ladies and gentlemen. Number 3. It's loading. Oh, that's a micro penis.
Okay.
Oh, it looks like a tiny little snowman figurine in between somebody's thighs.
Now, let's put the little shtick aside, and let's actually talk about this. How does that person have sex? And no making fun. I know we always go for the joke.
I'm not.
And how do you called it a snowman, Tyler? How?
Oh, I said what it looks like.
Can that person ever have sex or no?
I actually read a Cracked article on this
Okay.
about how
Love you, Cracked.
Great
Old
website.
iteration, new iteration. Love you.
They did an interview with somebody who has a micro penis and talked about how they give pleasure to. He's married.
They didn't even cater the interview, Tyler. I had to bring my own food.
Are you done?
Almost.
Yeah, and basically it just boiled down to you obviously find somebody that you fall in love with and is understanding, and you become really good at oral sex.
What about them? So they can never have sex. Can they have sex? Could you, no making fun, because it's an actual.
I don't think so.
Wow, that is quite the life to live. And we put such a big, no pun intended, premium on the size of a man's penis. Obviously, you're not showing it to everyone, but the idea is,
Yes, I am.
Psychologically, we're assigning all sorts of things about that.
Yeah.
What's your take on that, really quickly? So we can
just
move on.
like anything else, the way that women feel pressured to look a certain way, men we get off a little bit easier than them. No pun intended.
Jeez, Tyler.
But yeah, we still are. You got to have the 6-pack. You got to wear the nicest clothes. You got to have a big dick. Whatever the bleep it is.
And there is also have you ever heard of a buried penis, Tyler?
Yes, I have.
Have you ever heard of that?
I have.
And what do you think that is?
It's a penis that's inverted, Ryan.
So, Tyler, if we could go back to that inbox.
I accidentally opened it.
You son of a bitch.
Ugh.
You should be buried.
Well, congratulations. Your strategy is working. I officially hate this noise because of what it entails.
Can you see it?
What is this? You sent me another one. Oh, it's just balls.
That is a buried penis, Tyler.
That's unfortunate.
Now, and you probably don't know a lot about this. Now, when that man is excited, will he be able to? Will his penis then be back?
Like goes in from an innie to an outie?
Sure,
I'm not sure.
Like a reverse nipple.
I don't know.
It could be rectified. No pun intended. I'll stop saying that. They're all intended.
Yep.
I mean every single one of them.
Yep.
And that's
is
it.
micropeni. Ryan, last week you called Jason Momoa white. Are we eventually going to be canceled?
Hell yeah, I suck toes.
Joseph Jason Namakaya Momoa,
crack ass.
was born in Nanakuli, Honolulu, Hawaii. His father is of partial native Hawaiian ancestry, and his mother is of Pawnee ancestry, which is a Native American tribe that was home to Nebraska.
I'm familiar with the Pawnee tribe from Parks and Recreation, Tyler.
Oh, I think it was the city of Pawnee. I don't think it was.
I believe We Can Review If We Care is based upon those Indians.
Oh, okay.
What I meant was that he wasn't black. And I think it's much like in the NBA, you're either white European or not white European. That's it. You know what I mean?
But you said white. You just said white.
You know what I mean.
No, I don't.
Can anybody say anything anymore?
You might as well just call him gray. He's just in a gray area of skin tone.
Can anybody just make sweeping generalizations about somebody else's ethnicity anymore?
I guess not.
This is bullshit, Tyler.
I thought I lived in America.
Not anymore. These colors don't run.
Well, it's because I took a trip to Cuba, and now because of this new decree, I gotta fucking live here.
Yeah, sorry. I wish I hadn't done that while you were traveling internationally.
I feel like it was intentional.
The most dangerous tourist. Last week, I discussed the most dangerous tourist attractions. Did I find exactly what I was looking for?
Yes?
That is not correct.
That is not correct, Tyler, because I didn't find the most dangerous man-made ones. But unfortunately, I waited until right before we were about to record to look this up.
Of course.
So let's work with what we do have. I have 4 here. You tell me if you've heard of them. Number 1, Half Dome Yosemite National Park. Have you ever heard of that?
I have not.
It's a mountain in Yosemite National Park where I would love to go to Yosemite. I would love to go to Yellowstone. I would love to go to any of those national parks.
Is the Half Dome, is that the one that has the totally smooth wall to it?
I believe that to be the case. And just people from being struck by lightning to cardiac arrest to rocks falling, just natural occurrences. I believe somewhere around 600 people. I just read it and I did not retain the information that much, but that is up there. What else, you ask?
I didn't.
The Cliffs of Moher in Ireland, Tyler. You've heard of this one?
I have heard of this one. A lot of people fall off specifically because they want to take photos.
And the wind up there is
Yeah.
at such a dire level that they close it at certain points. Our parents have been there. A woman I used to date had been there, and they have a big giant monument to these people with their names of the people who had died, not only to serve as remembrance, but also to warn you this many people have died. Number 3, Colorado River, Tyler. Colorado River, because of the topography and, rainfall and certain things, it is so wildly dangerous up near where we went whitewater rafting, Tyler.
I believe it.
And finally, New Smyrna Beach, Florida, Tyler. Have you ever heard of New Smyrna Beach?
I have not.
The highest rate of shark attacks.
Oh, wow.
Florida is at the very epicenter of shark attacks. Did you know that?
In the world or in the country?
We can review and we can review, Tyler.
Just one that I've seen myself. When I went to Iceland, we went to the black beaches of Iceland, and they have
Name drop.
They have the black. They have a sign right there on the beach that says, "Go no further than this point. Waves will come up, sweep you in freezing cold water, and you will never be seen again." And they had like the number of people that had happened to or whatever.
I got to tell you, top of my list of ways I do not want to die. The idea of being taken out to a frigid sea, Ernest Hemingway painted it as such a romantic picture, but I don't think I want to go out that way.
Ryan, last week I mentioned plants that are nocturnal.
Oh, yeah.
Was I supremely confident when I delivered that info? Not even close.
Wait.
I was going to say, wait.
That is not correct.
Oh, that's a wet one.
However, I was shocked to read that there are, in fact, nocturnal plants.
Do you remember what the name for the opposite of nocturnal is? Diurnal.
Diurnal.
It came to me as I was waiting for you to respond.
Thank you.
We're getting smarter, Tyler. We're retaining. We're not just farting out this information. We're keeping some of it.
Are we?
I don't know.
There are lots of nocturnal plants, as a matter of fact, because plants, normally, the majority of them, bloom during the day. They open up for photosynthesis.
Sure.
And they open up for bees, butterflies, those kind of things to pollinate them.
Absolutely.
But there are, and I was shocked to learn this, not just about the plants, but did you know that bats and moths also pollinate?
Absolutely.
I did not know that.
Absolutely.
So there are certain plants that bloom at night
Oh, wow.
and wait for these nocturnal creatures that only obviously come out at night to pollinate them.
And who says that the whole world is just an accident, Tyler? It's all this beautiful chorus that goes back and forth. Jesus de Cristo, we love you. Last week I asked, was Popeye based on a real person, Tyler? Was he?
Yes?
Hell yeah, I suck toes.
Who friggin' knows? There is no such thing as a fact. But a lot of information on the internet pointed to Frank Rocky Fiegel,
Oh, that's definitely a name.
A
Popeye.
man who lived in the Popeye creator's hometown of Chester, Illinois, Tyler.
I hope he got
Chester,
some
Illinois.
royalty checks
Oh, I'm sure.
to pay for those surgeries he obviously had to get done on those forearms.
Serious melanoma. Now, he was not a spinach-eating sailor. Actually, he was a bartender who was more likely to toss back some bourbons, Tyler, which, if you ask me, is a way better show.
Well, and I think bourbon would help me to fight a lot better than spinach.
Well, it depends upon how many you had. And that
That's fair.
is Week in Review.
The spinach or the bourbon? Oh, he's over spinach. He can't handle himself.
Oh, my goodness. He's turning green. Tyler, what do you have going on for a segment?
Ryan, it's time for another round of Better Know Your History.
Let's go.
For those of you who don't know, I give Ryan 3 stories, 2 are true, and he has to guess which one is false. If he gets it right, he wins and the show is all the worse off because of it.
Sure.
But
Nobody
if you
wants
lose,
to see me succeed.
if you lose, you will be relegated to embarrassment and shame for the rest of your days. Are you ready, Ryan?
Let's get it, girl.
All right. It's time to begin another round of Better Know Your History Killer Edition. It's time to begin another round of Better Know Your History Killer Freaks Edition.
Let's go, baby. This might be in my wheelhouse.
Ryan!
Yo!
Story 1, Ryan. Pick a side. Hans Schmidt, German town of Aschweinerberg,
Nailed it.
1881. He had 2 loves at an early age. He loved Roman Catholic rituals and would even play priest at a homemade altar. The other love, watching the cows and pigs being processed at the local slaughterhouse.
Okay.
At 25, he was ordained in Germany in 1904, and by 1912, he was at St. Boniface Church in Manhattan.
Okay. I believe all that so far.
At the same time, Austrian housekeeper Anna Müller joined the club. As with these stories, the two began having an affair.
Okay.
A tale as old as time,
Sure.
Ryan.
TAIL.
Less than a year later, they were married in secret. Schmidt performed it himself. I didn't know they could do that.
Holy Schmidt.
Not too long after that, Anna was pregnant. Now, you can't be a priest and be married with a child. So obviously, what is the rational thing that you must do in that situation?
Kill
Ryan?
him!
You would be right if you said butcher. You would be right if you said butcher them with a butcher knife.
I didn't say that. I said, kill!
Because-
Kill the dirty bastards!
Jesus.
They're threatening my income!
He sliced Anna's throat with a butcher knife
Wow.
in the apartment that he rented for her.
I feel like a butcher knife would not be the right tool to implement a throat cutting.
You gotta work with the tools that are given to you, Ryan.
That's more of a hacker.
As the good book says.
What book?
I don't know. New York Times bestseller, Ryan. He then proceeded to saw off her head with a hacksaw, cut the body in 2, and then dumped her in the Hudson River. The body washed ashore, he was questioned, and within minutes admitted to his crime. Hans Schmidt remains the only priest ever sentenced to death in the U.S.
Jesus will bail me out.
I mean, it'll have to be in the next lifetime. Story number 2. Here's a performer for you. Here's a performance for you. You gotta stop doing it. In 1852, at the age of 13, Akio Chen was sold by her family to Mal Chin Lee, the ringleader of a small traveling circus. She quickly realized that this wouldn't be the pleasant kind of human trafficking you're always hearing about.
Oh, man.
She was immediately forced into labor along with other children. Apparently, they would just travel the land and buy children from their parents. She was forced to pick up animal shit, clean after the other carnies, Anything you could think of, she and the other kids were subjected to. And it wasn't just the back-breaking labor, but the nightly visits from the different carnies every night that really broke her.
With sexo?
Yes. Rape. 4 years of this she endured. That is, until she finally decided she had had enough. She waited for the night when the ringleader, Mal Chin, made the rounds, and as he drunkenly mounted her, in one fluid moment, she brought the knife up to his neck and killed him instantly.
I hope she used a butcher knife.
The same one, as a matter of fact.
Best tool for that.
And thus, the spree killing commenced. After he gave into his wounds, Akio left the body and went from tent to tent, removing everyone that had hurt her. And the rumor goes on to say that she goes to run the circus, but I just want that to be true. I don't know if it's actually a thing.
In my mind, that is Madagascar 3.
And story number 3, Ryan. Get your damn dirty claws off me. Grady Stiles Jr., a.k.a.
Lobster Boy.
Lobster Boy, that's right. Was born in Pittsburgh in 1937. He was born with what is known as
Lobsterus claueus.
Actrodactyly.
Nailed it.
Which fuses the fingers together into lobster claws.
He had like two big fingers and one thumb, right?
Two. He had just the two lobster claws.
Yeah, a Vulcan.
He had a rare case of not only having it of the hands, but of the feet as well, which means he could not walk his entire life.
It's crazy.
It's really terrible to be afflicted with something like this. So he got around most of the time in a wheelchair, but got really used to pushing himself on the ground.
Right.
He fell in love with another carny.
Yep.
I really wanted to make this one the circus edition. But
heavy carny themed.
The third one didn't pan out, unfortunately. He fell in love with a woman named Donna. Now, as you can imagine, the marriage didn't go great. They married, they were in love. Were you going to ask a question?
Nope.
He became an alcoholic and subsequently, as most alcoholics are wont to do, became very abusive towards his wife.
Well, you could imagine living that life could probably be very stressful on your psychological your responses to things.
You mean just being born in the 1800s and how difficult that must have been?
Plus the lobster thing.
Lobster claws.
Yep. And then living in a circus, you know?
He became incredibly abusive towards his wife and child. The day before his daughter's wedding, the man, which he did not approve of, had his head removed.
Sure.
Had his head removed by Mr. Stiles.
It's a family tradition, Tyler.
It is.
They're praying manti.
Praying
Manti Teo.
He was caught, obviously. They knew immediately that he had done it. Taken to court. His defense, while showing absolutely no remorse and admitting to the crime, his defense was, there is no jail in this country that can support somebody like me with my deformity. He was let off with 15 years probation.
Makes sense to me, man. I mean, you've paid your price to society just by being a lobster boy, and we salute you.
For whatever the reason, his wife, after divorcing him while he was going through the trial for the murder, decided to get back with him a few years later. The abuse got so bad that she then hired 17-year-old neighbor Chris Wyant, paid him $1,500 to murder this man.
Okay.
Done did it.
Okay.
And she was quoted as saying, "My husband was going to kill my family. I believe that from the bottom of my heart." Now, and not to just get off topic here, but not to get off topic too much here, but you have to imagine if you're in that kind of danger, you gotta have to give them a little leeway, right? You gotta be able to murder in that sense.
Yeah, those things get pretty touchy, but yes, if you're in imminent danger, you should be allowed to kill. Very few people disagree with that.
Forgive me, I fell off a little bit in that third story when I realized that you knew the facts behind it. I kind of got thrown off. So story 1, Ryan, pick a side. Hans Schmidt, Roman Catholic priest and butcher. Lobster boy. Number 3 or number 2.
The woman who had been molested, who took out all of her anger, Kill Bill style.
Basically like Ching Chi, the pirate that we took about, who once her husband died, she took over piracy. She murdered this guy and took over the circus.
Sure. I'm the ringleader now. My guess is I'm going to say number 2.
That's right, Ryan. Yay!
I did it.
You nailed it.
And so did you, Tyler.
Why, did you already know the answer? Or did you know it because you knew the third story?
I'll tell you exactly what it is. I know about Lobster Boy. Also, I know that you will take any chance you can have at shining the church in a poor light, you heathen. And really, I just guessed.
I was going to say, I didn't even think of it.
I just threw it out there. I mean, it was 1 or 2. I chose 2.
Story number 1 is totally true. This man got married while he was a priest, couldn't handle the fact that he was going to get found out with a pregnant wife, cut her head off, chopped her body in half, dumped her, and then immediately gave himself up. Like once he was questioned, he's like, yep, I did it.
Some of the most spiritual people are some of the most fucked up people who adapt to dogma and live in that terms in a lot of ways. In my personal experience, a lot of the most religious people that I've known have also been a lot of the meanest people that I know.
Yeah, I think religion gives a lot of people the ability to have the holier than thou, literally. Attitude about themselves. And story 3, Lobster Boy, as you can imagine, being born in the late 1800s with
not that bad
ectrodactyly. It's got to be a rough life. Ryan, you have won. Better know your history.
Hey,
it pisses me off. The show is worse for it, you bastard.
Lobster Boy.
Yeah, and he's dead.
I think that's,
yeah.
Nonetheless.
You know Lobster Boy?
Yeah.
Dead.
And Fructose.
Yeah.
Tyler, that is a great job. You deserve 2 of those. And we made it, Tyler. We did it this week. Great job. I'm impressed by you.
Better
call Saul. Now, Tyler, please tell them how they can get in touch with us.
THOSEGUYSYOUHATE.com. Just go to the website and click all the buttons. Please click all the...
You've got mail.
All right, Tyler, just really quickly on the way out.
I don't want to.
I know. I understand. But just, this is kind of the theme of the show, so please tell the audience what you're looking at. Tyler!
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Tyler, it's not an audio medium.
What the fuck, man?
You're going to have to bleep all this out, Tyler. What's the problem? What's the
deal? It's Lemon Party with our faces.
Can you describe to the people who don't know what, and if you don't know what lemonparty.org is,
you're blessed.
Yes, please, if you're at work, please look it up. If you're driving, use, your hand and stare directly at the phone.
Who sent that to you?
What?
Lemon Party with us?
I made it myself, Tyler. I made it myself.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it wasn't easy. Could you describe to the?
It's 3 old dudes blowing each other.
But not this one.
And Ryan photoshopped the 3 Menendez brothers' faces on the 3 old men.
You and I are kissing. Michael's got a mouthful of hog.
I'm not even kissing you. I'm leaning over your naked body, and we're both just seductively smiling at the camera, and Michael is kissing the tip of your penis.
Yeah, he certainly is.
This is going to haunt me for the rest of my days.
He's a gentle lover. We've got you've got male sound.
What made you want to do this?
I don't know, dude. I told you while we were working together at the same time, I'm like, my sense of humor is weird.
I agree.
And Tyler, I think it all comes down to this. What is the moral of the story?
It's so fitting, my moral of the story. Ryan, for session 97, you're making me rethink this. For session 97, my theme is be yourself.
Brotherly love.
Be yourself.
Brotherly love.
Unless yourself is Ryan.
Yeah, I got
Be
it.
somebody else. Otherwise, be yourself. I thought growing up that the advice given to you, be yourself, was the most ridiculous bullshit you could give somebody. Be yourself. You don't want to be yourself. Myself sucks. Incorrect. Be yourself, because unless you're being yourself, everything else comes off as disingenuous, and nobody likes disingenuous.
And you're deeply unhappy. If you're constantly running from yourself, you will never, in my opinion, achieve contentment.
Yeah, or you're just looking at a picture of Lemon Party with your brother.
Sure.
Ryan,
sure.
what's the moral of the fucking story.
My moral of the story is, do you think I should send this through to Michael right now? Should I text this to
Absolutely.
Michael? Do you think so?
Absolutely,
for real?
yes.
Okay, hold
Absolutely.
on 1 second. Setting it up. It would be great if you responded while we were still doing the show.
He's sending the photo of Lemon Party with our faces to our oldest brother, Mikey Menendez.
It says Mikey has notifications silenced. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, it's with the update. They let you know what the other person's doing.
Send it anyway.
Send it anyway. He can find it when he gets back to his phone.
My moral of the story is, whether you have a micro penis or you're a professional nipple tweaker, we all are going through our own part. Oh, you look like Lobster Boy. We're all, oh man, Lobster Boy should. My moral of the story, Tyler, is that Lobster Boy should have been J-Lo's professional nipple tweaker. I believe that they were built to be together, and if there's anybody who can soothe the savage beast, it's that fly girl, Jennifer Lopez, Tyler.
Unfortunately, chronologically, your joke doesn't make any sense because they weren't alive at the
I
same
don't
time.
give a shit. We are those guys you hate.
Be kind or we'll kill you. Red circle.
So what I was saying was, as I get my cheat in order, is on, if in case you missed it, what's going on with you? But on the last mini sesh, little smaller episode where Tyler and I tell stories back and forth to one another, Tyler reprimanded me.
I did.
And the reason that I bring it up is because I thought it made for great radio. And I love the idea of you calling me on my bullshit when I'm in the middle of it. I think that makes, I just think that's interesting.
Well, it made for great radio because it was real.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
After it happened, I was like, maybe I should have brought this up and not let it build up inside of me longer than it already has.
What was it for again? Oh, about,
Because you don't listen to me.
I'm nonsensical in my responses. I'm doing my own show in my head, and I'm not allowing you to be a part of it.
Correct.
Yep. So we're not going to be able to change that. So what are we going to do, Tyler?
I'm guessing I'm just going to have to murder you after a certain amount of time. I grow to resent you. It builds up inside of me. Eventually, I'm too narcissistic to kill myself. So then I'm going to have to let my anger out, and I'm going to do things to you.
Well, in the spirit of brotherhood, in
Gay
the
stuff.
spirit of family,
Butt stuff.
I would like to tell you that I think I could fucking take you. So bring that shit on through.
I
buddy.
know where you sleep, motherfucker.
I know where you sleep.
I'll come. Well, you'll be
On
sleeping.
a bed that sometimes has sheets, sometimes doesn't.
I got to wash my sheets.
Tyler, I mean it. I love that you called me out on it, and I'm also proud that I immediately just I wasn't defensive. I just apologized, and we went on with the show.
Agreed.
Thought it was a teaching moment. Tyler, empanadas, Cuban Jamaican beef patties.
Delicious, and yes.
They
You're
are,
absolutely
right?
right. Yeah.
From
Yeah.
around
Well-
the world, everybody has their own version of that kind of food.
Well, the Jamaican beef patty
Oh.
is when they put the two tortillas flat against each other, whereas the
Jamaican me
empanada,
hungry.
the empanada, they fold in half. But it's filled with meat. It's filled with goodness. It's delicious.
I think that it is folded the same way with the Jamaican beef patty. I think that's all one. Now they're made of different materials. We can review if it's interesting.
I mean, I haven't had a
I
Jamaican.
love Jamaican beef patties.
I haven't had one of those since elementary school.
I love empanadas. And for
Okay.
all you gringo ass crackers out there,
right here,
it is just some meat inside of a pastry.
a pastry.
Oh,
Yeah. Think of dessert,
Ah!
but instead of sweetness, it's meat.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's savory, Tyler. Oh, but there's also dessert empanadas, right? You could get a guava empanada.
Oh yeah, when I was in Amsterdam, they have these little shops on every corner where they sell
Marijuana.
well, yes, that too.
And then you want an empanada.
But they love waffles over there, man.
Really?
They love waffles, and the waffles are delicious.
I love a waffle.
Ooh.
I love a waffle.
And they have those big
slurring when I say a waffle.
They have those big Belgian waffles with the big old like for the syrup, the big cups
the
for
big
the syrup.
Belgian dips.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of food, and this one's real. I say a bunch of bullshit that doesn't mean anything.
I got
on
a
this
subject
show.
for us as well. Go ahead, please.
Okay, fantastic. There is another fallen victim of the pandemic. Remember how last week or 2 weeks ago, who can fucking tell anymore?
It's all one big day.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And not a great one.
No.
And I told you, fast food places are just, they've used the pandemic to be like, listen, shit's crazy.
Yeah.
We're just going to lock our doors at 4:30 p.m. when I don't want to see your stupid faces anymore. Sit for hours in the drive-thru.
We are turning the food off, actually. So you guys can scatter back to your
Sure.
homes. Go ahead. Scatter.
You're feel free to dig through the dumpster, but you're like the 10th one here. So I don't know what you're going to find. I have another fallen victim from the pandemic.
I don't know if you're allowed to do that.
Pollo Tropical.
Go on. That is
If you are real.
tropical chicken, guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Tropical chicken.
Yeah.
Heard of it?
Yes.
Delicioso.
I eat there all the time.
Big old Italian kiss.
Cuban kiss.
Sure. That's just a punch, Tyler. So one of the best things about Pollo Tropical is you can go in. I don't like drive-thrus. I like to just expedite my situation because schlubs like you are sitting out in the fast food drive-thru and it takes forever. So I go in. I'm going to put pressure on you with my face.
Oh, excuse me.
But while you're in there, you can get little cups of salsa, of cilantro ranch kind of thing, of all these different stuff.
Uh-huh.
Because that's it. They don't do it anymore. That
Yeah.
has been shut down because of the quarantine.
Well, it's not just because of quarantine, because I was there recently, actually, because of the supply chain issues, they can't actually get sauces to the
I
restaurant.
don't want to hear your problems. I want salsa.
It's kind of like everybody's problems.
Salsa. Bring it to me.
Yeah, no, the salsa is good, but yeah, I woke up.
Ah!
And this woman, when I finally got to the drive-thru, had obviously been getting the same question angrily all day long because I was like, "Do you guys have any sauces?"
And she was Hispanic.
And there was a paper on the window that said, "Hey, we're out of sauces." And she hit that window. I thought she
Wow.
was going to put her fist through it.
Wow, what a dick. Okay, I want to hear what else you got. Hey, and if you guys happen to have a computer, if you happen to have YouTube, if not, you should check it out. You can watch videos whenever you want. It's pretty amazing.
We don't want the poors listening to us. So if you don't have the equipment to listen to the show, forget about us. We don't want you here.
Buzz off.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead and check us out on YouTube. We've got a pretty cool background going right now that is going to tie into everything that we're doing today.
Oh, wonderful.
Tyler, what
Ryan finally comes out.
what did you notice this candle that I lit over here, Tyler? I got a little candle. Can you smell it? Can you smell it?
It smells like, wait. That smells like Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina, Ryan.
No. You're getting wafts of my fingers.
Oh.
That is Endless Weekend. Today is National Candle Day. Yesterday was National Bartender Day. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. A weird
People were
series of holidays.
2% less rude to me yesterday.
I can't imagine that's a real number.
That's like 600% in Ohio.
yeah.
What do you got, Tyler? Give me something. Taco to me.
School shooter, Ryan.
No, thank you.
School
I'm busy for the weekend, but I appreciate you offering.
School shooter.
Yeah, there was another school shooter.
Another school
I don't know
shooting.
much about it. Is
Mhm.
this like get in? So we probably shouldn't go there.
No, actually, the only thing that I wanted to discuss, because details are still ongoing, they have the kid in custody. He
Yeah,
murdered.
didn't kill himself.
He did not kill himself, and the cops didn't kill him either. You think maybe things might be a little bit different if he's not white, but who knows?
He, his shoelaces got tied together and he shot himself in the back of the mouth.
He fell down on this knife in the back of his head 5 times.
17 times. Gravity's weird when shit is in extreme mode.
So, and the people out there, do not quote me on all the details, but what did emerge that I find so interesting is the state is actually going after the parents.
Ooh.
The parents are going to be charged. So now,
Wait. And they've decided this within a couple of days?
Oh, the story goes way beyond that. We are past the point of them being charged. You ready for this shit?
I certainly am. Why are you saying this in a joyous fashion?
Because I'm excited by how blown away by the story you're
Tyler,
going to be.
It's National Candle Day, bro. Like
Your candles got me all relaxed and
red
just
hot and bothered.
feeling good. And you're absolutely right. I should not use that tone when talking about a school shooting.
Absolutely not.
It was
Because
weird.
we got dark humor here.
And probably my face. I just recorded this on video. This is probably bad.
You seem delighted.
I seem delighted. Okay, let me bring down the somber mood. I feel really good today, Ryan.
Do you really?
I feel really good today.
Because you were very quiet while we were in here at first, and I wasn't sure what was going on with you.
I'm just concentrating.
Okay,
It's very difficult for me.
cool.
So he shoots up the school, and the state decides we have him already. We're going to go after the parents. We're going to, tack onto them, whatever it is.
I was going to ask you, how does that work?
Or it's like manslaughter, I forget the actual term, manslaughter, whatever it is.
But because they gave him access to guns, is that where their head's at?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Details come out that they sent him a text saying, don't do it the day of the shooting. Come to find out, it was after he had already shot up the school.
Well,
they knew that he was good. No.
Oh.
When they learned that he did it to cover their own asses, they sent him a text, don't do it.
So did they secretly want him to do it? Like,
No.
What?
They got him the gun illegally. They
Oh.
bought it for him for Christmas
Wow.
or for his birthday, whatever it was, posted it all over social media, everything. He was caught looking up to buy ammo in class. Was also caught with papers, I don't know if this was the same instance, but with drawings of him shooting and killing people, saying, please make the voices stop, or something along those lines.
Yikes.
Basically every red flag you can imagine.
Right.
The parents, when they found those drawings, fought to keep him in school that day, which was the same day that he shot up the school. When he was caught looking up ammo, it was found that they text him, LOL, just don't get caught next time. It was like almost like three buddies talking to each other.
Well, and that's why I've been saying for a long time, if you want to be a good parent, you got to hate your kid.
Yeah.
You can't enjoy being with them because they'll kill.
Agreed. Or if you're going to get them a gun, you got to pistol whip them every once in a while just to remind them, hey, I'm in charge here.
You're a henchman. I'm the evil boss.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. And a lot of times these things are genetic because that sounds like somebody with mental issues. If you are...
The parents went on the run.
Yeah.
They went on the run. It was found that they withdrew $4,000 out of an ATM and disappeared.
Wow.
They were found in a basement last night.
Okay. Well, look, man, it sounds to me like
it's a crazy story.
They deserve to be prosecuted.
For sure.
Yeah.
You don't see that. The kid is in jail, about to be prosecuted, and the parents just leave him high and dry. Just take off on
Well,
it.
at that point, number one, there's nothing you could do for yourself. And number two, they probably knew that they had they were going to have some answers that needed to be answered.
We don't like judging people. I'm going to go ahead and call it okay to judge these people. They seem to be absolute dog of human beings.
Well, good thing you don't judge people, but when you do,
I gave myself permission on that
you
one.
bring it up to the very highest level.
Dog shit, Ryan.
Dog shit it is. I agree with you. Yep, that's pretty terrible. Different than my Pollo Tropical stop giving out sauces take.
I don't have a GBI this week, so I really wanted to get it in and discuss it.
No problem. Yes, I don't know where to go with that other than bad. Don't do that. Bad. No. And the last thing is, and this actually hasn't even been as much of a problem recently. We're getting better at it, but I want to bring the audience in on it. I want to talk about you laughing out loud. I want to explain to the audience how you have now been charged with laughing at my jokes when they're not funny.
Yeah.
Really faking it. And I want them to be part of that process. What's your take on that?
Well, I'm certainly trying to find the right balance between laughing to add
maniacally
the sound to the show and not wanting to overdo it and become like a Stugatz where you're just laughing at everything that's being said. And
that's what I want.
No,
that's what I want.
It's so what's the word?
Not sure, Tyler.
Not real. It's so
disingenuous.
It's so disingenuous.
Well, I'm thinking that maybe what I'll do is I will pistol whip you a couple of times and remind you that you're the henchman. I'm the evil boss. You laugh like a fucking fool whenever I say anything funny like right now.
Except I'm not the henchman. You and I are co-evil geniuses.
No!
Go fuck yourself.
No! Pistol whip yourself, Tyler.
If I could give myself a concussion just to forget this conversation.